Yes, dear students, welcome to the next video lecture. In the last lecture, students, we have discussed the method of least squares. Students, don't worry for the time being, students, if you are not able to recollect the entire short note, you need not worry. And for your knowledge, the short note on method of least squares is rarely asked in exam, and if it is asked, it is to be written in simple words as given in textbook. So did not worry. Now students, today we are going to start exercise 4.2. We are going to do the sums of trend line. As we had students regression line, in the same fashion, students, in the same way we have a trend line, nothing new. This is a photocopy of regression only. The only change is, instead of x as independent variable, students, our independent variable is t. That is the only change here, students. It is just a photocopy or replica of regression, and an extra advantage, only one formula of b, nothing else. Now students, first two sums I am doing with very perfect steps so that you can understand. Now I am reading the first question. The information about death rate of a state in different years is given in the following table. Fit a linear equation to find trend and hence estimate the death rate for the year 2017. As usual in the graph also, we were calling the first year as t is equal to 1, second year as t is equal to 2, third year as t is equal to 3, students, and onwards. So here also it is exactly the same. Now in the first sum I will be writing each and every step. So step number 1, 4.2, considering the year 2009 as t is equal to 1 and onwards, we have t is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us count how many values. 4 and 3, 7. So 5, 6 and 7. This is to be written, students, in the first step. Second step, the table to obtain trend line is as below. Second step, the table to obtain trend line is as below. And an alternative to this, students, we can also write the table to obtain constants b and a is as below. Both are correct, but let us follow this. The table to obtain trend line is as below. So these two steps are universal, students. First step, considering the year 2009, whatever is given in the question, st is equal to 1, 2010 st is equal to 2, and onwards the values of t are 7. Then the next step, we write the table to obtain trend line or trend line equation or constants b and a is as below, students. Now try to understand how many columns, students, here we have to make. Generally we have only 4 columns in the sum. T, yt, then t into yt, and then t square. So in the sums of trend line, students, we will have only 4 columns. Now for columns I am erasing these 2 steps, students. I need more space to write. So students, be very careful that in this type of sums we have only 4 columns, and those 4 columns are universal. Okay, students, so my first column will be t, yt, t into yt, and then t square. Values of t are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Corresponding values of y are 7.6, 6.9, 7.6, 6.9, 7.1, 7.3, 7.2, 6.9 and 6.9. Here students, we are generally writing totals. All of you know, in regression also we followed students the same pattern. Students, in regression also we followed the same pattern. Now students, we will multiply t and yt. 1 into 7.6 is 7.6, then 2 into 6.9 is 13.8, then 3 into 7.1 is 21.3, 4 into 7.3 is 29.2, then 5 into 7.2 is 36, then 6 into 6.9 is 41.4, and then 7 into 6.9 is 48.3. T square, 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square 16, 5 square 25, 6 square 36, and 7 square 49. So these are students the 4 columns in the sums of trend line equation. T, yt, means the suffix t is simply written for time series students. Even if I write y, it is not wrong. And then t into y, and then t square. Clear students? T, y, yt and t square. Now if I total this, then this totals are 28, then this total is 49.9, then total of ty is 197.6, and this total is 140 students. So these are the required total students: 28, 49.9, 197.6 and 140. Now students, I have to erase this table because I don't have more space to write, but you can easily understand this. Now students, as we were doing in regression, we were finding x bar and y bar students. Here we will find y bar and t bar. Instead of x bar students, we will find t bar. So that I am writing here. T bar is equal to sigma t upon n, and that is 28 upon 7, and that is 4. And y bar will be sigma yt or y upon n, 49.9 students, divided by 7, and that comes out to be 7.13. So this students I have already found out. Clear? Now students, I am erasing these columns because I need more space to write further, but the steps are very same as in regression line. Okay students, we erase these steps, and now the next step students which we have to follow is the step to find constants b and a. And before that we will write the trend line equation is the trend line equation is yt cap is equal to a plus b into t. Then formulas to find b and a. Formulas to find b and a. Now the formula of b, n sigma xy, instead of that ty, minus sigma x into sigma y, instead of that sigma t into sigma y, upon n sigma x square, means n sigma t square, minus n sigma x the whole square, means sigma t the whole square. So substituting the values, n is 7, total of ty was 197.6, minus sigma x was sigma t was 28, sigma y is 49.9. N is set. Then sigma t square is 140 minus sigma t the whole square. Simplifying this, students, we get the answer of B as minus 0.07. That I have already worked out because I cannot show those simplification steps, students. That step I have already worked out. It is minus 0.07. Clear, students? Now after finding B only, students, we can find A. The formula to find A is y bar minus B into t bar. So A is equal to y bar minus B into t bar. What was the value of y bar? 7.13. Minus minus becomes plus 0.07 and t bar was 4. So simplifying this, students, I get 7.41 as the answer of A, and this is the answer of B. So students, as we were doing in regression, after getting the answer of A and B, we substitute those constants in the regression line. Here we have to substitute these constants in the trend line. So our required trend line, now I am erasing the simplification of AB. So students, our trend line will be substituting the values of A and B, substituting the values of A and B, the regression line, instead of that trend line. A is how much? 7.41 minus 0.07 t. This is our answer. So nothing new, students. Whatever we have done in regression, same, students, we are following here, and same is the procedure, students, to find regression line also. We haven't done long sums of regression line. The same procedure, students, we have to follow. So nothing new. Now students, 2015 is 7, so 2016 will be t is equal to 8, and 2017 will be t is equal to 9. We are told to find estimate for the year 2017. So 2015 is 7, 16 will be 8, and 17 will be 9. So substituting t is equal to 9. And that is for 2017. Y 9 cap. Here also I can write 9. 7.41 minus 0.07 into 9, and this works out to be 6.78. So finally answer we can write. The required trend line equation is y cap is equal to 7.41 minus 0.07 t, and the estimate for the year 2017 is y9 cap is equal to 6.78. And this is rate. Rate will be always, students, in terms of percentage. So this is your final answer, students. One more sum we will do, and I assure you, students, I think you will be definitely able to understand. Now second sum. The data about cost inflation index, CII, in economics or OC, Miss Mercy will have taught you this, declared by the central government are as follows. The year 1981-82 is the base for this index. Find the estimate of this index for the year 2015-16 by fitting the linear equation to this data. So every time the first step, students, remain same. Considering the year 2007-8, ST is equal to 1. Count how many values we will have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Students, we will be having 8 values of t. So that is, students, generally our first step. Okay, I am writing all the steps to make you understand perfectly, students. Need not worry. So let us start with the first step. Considering the year 2007-8, ST is equal to 1. Considering year 2007-8, 0.78, st is equal to 1, and onwards the values of t are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then what is the next step? We write the table to obtain trend line or constants b and a of trend line. It is the same thing. The table to obtain trend line is as below. And then students, we make the table. Students, make sure of these steps. Steps has marks. Students, you should be very thorough with the steps because steps have mark in the examination. Now students, we make the columns. Always 4 columns universally. So students, now let us make the columns. Second C, T. Now y t I am not writing only y. T into y, and the last is t square. We have 8 values of t. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then students, of course, we write totals. The corresponding values of y, students, are 551, 582, then 632, then 711, then 785, then 852, the next is 939, and the last is 1024. Okay, now if we multiply 1 into 551 is 551, 2 into 582 is 1164, 3 into 632 is 1896, 4 into 711 is 2844, then 5 into 785 is 3925, then students 6 into 852 is 5112, then 7 into 939 is 6573, and last 8 into 1024 is 8190, and then t square 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49 and 64. I have taken the totals. These totals are 36, 6076, 30,257, and total of t square is 204. Now let us find t bar and y bar as usual. Students, t bar is written as sigma t upon n. So that is 36 upon 8. Simplified. And y bar is sigma y upon n. So it is 6076 upon 8. Students, I have already simplified this value, students, so that you can easily do the sums. Okay, now students, let us check. Okay students, t bar comes out as 4.5 and y bar, students, it is 759.5. So the table is over, students. 4 columns are universal. Then students, which are the next steps we are writing? The required trend line equation is yt cap is equal to a plus BT. I am erasing the table. The trend line equation is second sum. The trend line equation is yt cap is equal to a plus bt. Formulas to find b and a. A universal student's formula to find b, and that formula is n sigma ty minus sigma t into sigma y upon n sigma t square minus sigma t the whole square. 8 into sigma ty is 30,257. Sigma t is 36. Sigma y is 6076 upon n is 8. Sigma t square is 204 minus sigma t the whole square, and this comes out to be, students, 69.4, which I have already simplified. And a will be y bar minus bt bar. Y bar is 759.5 minus 69.4 into t bar is 4.5, and simplification of a comes out to be 447.2. So students, calculation, 90% of the calculation, students, you have to do with your calculator in the sum. Only 3 steps we have to remember. The trend line equation is yt cap is equal to a plus bt. The formula of b and a, b is equal to n sigma ty minus sigma t into sigma y upon n sigma t square minus sigma t the whole square, and a is equal to y bar minus b into t bar. Now finally, substituting the values of a and b, the trend line equation we get s. Students, substituting the values of a and b, yt cap is equal to a is how much? 447.2 plus b is 69.4 into t. That's all, students. And finally, we have to obtain the estimate of this index for the year 2015 and 16. Now 14 and 15 was 8, so 15 and 16 would be 9. So substituting t is equal to 9. Substituting t is equal to 9, that is for 2015-16. y9 cap is equal to 447.2 plus 69.4 into 9, and this is simplified as 1071.8. So students, we can definitely say the estimate for the year 2015-16, that is t is equal to 9, is 1071.8. Now students, you only check, we have done 2 sums. These questions are universal. These questions are very easy, students. The only thing is you need to write it as I have explained, students. Now pay attention. The next question I am reading. Students, the number of 2-wheelers registered in 1000 in a city in different years is as follows. Use the method of fitting linear equation to this data and also obtain the estimates for the number of vehicles registered in the year 2016 and 17, and also find the trend value, students, for each year. Now this sum, students, has an additional point, and that is nothing but trend values. Students, trend values are always obtained after we find the trend line equation. Trend values are, students, always obtained after, students, we find the trend line equation. That, students, we have to remember. So the first two steps now, students, I am ignoring. I am not writing, but you should write like this. Considering the year 2010, ST is equal to 1, 2011, ST is equal to 2, and onwards, the given values of T are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Students, I expect you to write these steps on your own. Then, students, we write the table to obtain trend line equation is as below, and we make 4 universal columns which are T, Y, T into Y, and T square. So, students, now I am starting directly with the table of question number 3, students. I hope all of you have understood this very perfectly, students. So now, students, I am directly starting with the table. So, students, here we write the column of T first. Question 3. T, Y, T, Y, and T square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, values of Y: 69, 75. Then 80 to 91. 101, 115. T into Y, 1 into 69 is 69, 75 into 2 is 150, 3 into 82, 246, 4 into 91, 364, 5 into 101, 505, and 6 into 115 is 690. Total square of 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and 36. Students, I have totaled all the columns. The columns have total as 21, 533. Then 2024, then 91. So these are the totals of the columns. Let us find T bar and Y bar. T bar is equal to sigma T upon N, 21 upon 6. So this comes out to be 3.5. Y bar is equal to sigma Y upon N, 533 upon 6, students. This is 88.83. These are the values of T bar and Y bar. Okay, students, now the next step, that statement I will not write now. The trend line equation is yt cap is equal to a plus bt. Instead of writing the whole statement, I will only write yt cap is equal to a plus b into t. And directly, students, I will write the formulas of b and a. Our trend line is, students, yt cap is equal to a plus bt. B will have the formula, so that statement I am ignoring. N sigma ty minus sigma t into sigma y upon n sigma t square minus sigma t the whole square. So 6 into total of ty is 2024 minus sigma t is 21 and sigma y is 533 upon n into sigma t square. Total of t square is 91 minus sigma t the whole square. Simplifying this, the answer comes out to be, students, 9.06, and a is y bar minus b into t bar y bar was 88.83, b is 9.06 and t bar is 3.5. Students, this answer comes out to be 57.12. So these are the answers of A and B. So substituting A and B, students, the trend line equation we get as yt cap is equal to 57.12 plus 9.06. Students, this is our answer. Now students, we are told to estimate for 2016 and 17. Now 2015 is 6, so 16 and 17 will be 7 and 8. So students, for the estimates, what we have to write, when t is equal to 7, what is the answer, and when t is equal to 8, what is the answer. When t is equal to 7, that is for the year 2016, y7 cap will be 57.12 plus 9.06 into 7, and when t is equal to 8, that is 2017. Students, that is 2017. The first answer is 120.54. This answer is 120.54. y8 cap is 57.12 plus 9.06 into 8. So this is 129.6. The unit is 1000. So this step, students, now I suppose all of you have understood. The next important step, students, one more part of the question is to find trend values. Students, one more part of the sum is there, students, and that is to find trend values. Now, whenever, students, we are supposed to find trend values, I told you it can be always obtained after obtaining the equation of trend line. So what we have to do, students, our given time series consists of 6 values of t and yt. We have 6 ordered pairs. So turn by turn, take t is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and find the estimate of yt using trend line, that is called trend values. So what I should do? First we write t. 1,